Hey guys, welcome back to our Mark study. So today's going to be a short video. We're just going to go over those 3 questions that was our homework for this week. So the 3 questions we had. Number 1, what stood out to you about this chapter? A few things that stood out to me when reading over Mark chapter 1 were that everyone was coming to John the Baptist to get baptized and hear about the good news, which really comes to show you that people are hungry. I feel like it's a reflection of how people want to know a God and they want to know there is help. And really, all it takes is someone sharing that news. Another thing that stood out to me about the chapter is the fact that even Jesus got baptized. For individuals who are hemming and hawing, not sure if they too should do it, if Jesus himself walked through that step, that should really be a big point of awareness. Another thing that really spoke to me was how quickly disciples left what they were doing and the people they were with when Jesus said, "Come follow me." And our modern day society, sometimes we feel in our spirit, we're so convicted to take action in something God is calling us to. We just feel God calling us to be closer to him, and yet we still set him as our last priority. I've heard people say, will it be different if Jesus was here in the flesh? There should be no reason why it's any different. Jesus is in our everyday. His presence is constantly with us. So he very much is here in our every moment. So I don't think him not being a physical person is really an excuse to be used. 3 more things that popped up. One was how Jesus went to a solitary place to be with God and to be in prayer. And I think in society, we're just so distracted, whether it be Netflix and friendships and Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is, we are constantly bombarded with distraction. And it can feel so foreign, and it can be sometimes not desirable to kind of lock yourself in a place and be alone. I don't know about you, but if you've ever tried hearing someone, across a crowd, it's pretty near impossible. And I see distractions as the same thing. So even having a cell phone on and hearing the beeps and the rings and the text messages coming in while you're trying to have God time, trying to focus in on God with all that noise, sometimes it feels nearly impossible to hear him. And then we say, well, you're not talking. It's that we're not listening and that we're choosing to be distracted. One funny thing that I guess kind of ties into this too, that stood out to me was how the man that was healed with leprosy, when God said, go and tell no one, he went and told everyone. So it's just like that disobedience that we have sometimes towards the things God asks us to. And at first I was like, well, how could Jesus be standing before you and heal you and give you an order and you go and disobey it? But then I had to laugh again, because I'm like, how many times has God convicted me and asked me to walk something out? And I've been like, no, I can't go talk to the person. I can't pray for that person. I can't bring this point up in this conversation. But I just had to chuckle a little bit, because it was like chapter 1, this incredible miracle happens for this man and he disobeys God right after. And the other thing was just the authority of Jesus. And as I was reading through the chapter again, I really found it incredible that Jesus was still compassionate with his authority. He didn't throw pride in people's faces. He didn't demand things because he was the Son of God. And the little section that it talks about the people coming to him for healing and deliverance is that he could have very well allowed the demons he was delivering the people from to speak his name, because it said they all knew who he was, but he didn't let them speak. And it just goes to show that Jesus once wasn't waiting for people to shout his name and proclaim who he was. There was such humility. I think that's the word I'm looking for. There was such humility in how he carried his authority and he carried his work. It wasn't him on a pedestal. It was him with the lowest of the lows, not even wanting recognition, just wanting to walk out God's calling for him here on earth. So question number 2, what did this chapter reveal about God, Jesus, or Holy Spirit's character? What I feel I learned about the character of the Trinity is just how much humility Jesus carried himself with, and also just the peace that they carried. People would sit there for hours listening to Jesus in a synagogue teach. So there was something so captivating about how different he was, and the diligence, just the diligence in doing what is asked of you, and diligence to seeking quiet places and being with God. I sometimes find I lack diligence a lot. So this was good motivation for me. It's like if I want to be a reflection of him, diligence is part of his character. So it can very well be part of mine too. And how can I apply what I learned through this chapter this week? I think the number one thing that I applied to my week was how Jesus carried his authority. I started a new position at my job recently, and it is a lot of authority that has been given to me over this section of some of the programs that we run at our hospital. And if you watch some of my past videos, you'll know it's something that I am really working on getting better at, is being more gentle in my honesty and my approach to difficult conversations. So just try to think, okay, so Jesus did it with compassion and he was humble. It wasn't about him. It wasn't prideful. You don't have to be destructive when you're carrying out authority. He was just so peaceful about how he approached authority. So before a lot of the meetings that I had to have this week, and some were difficult meetings, I just went to God and I was like, I need it to be your words, and I need it to be said how you want it to be said, and I need your heart to be heard, not mine. So that was the one thing that I really kind of grabbed hold of this week, and I was like, okay, I want to reflect Jesus. He was compassionate with authority. Let me learn how to be compassionate with the authority that I have now been given. So let me know in the comments below what the answers to the 3 questions were for you guys. Let's have a discussion about it. I'd love it if the next video is coming out Monday for chapter 2. So if you get answers to your questions before the Saturday video comes out, write them on the comments and see what we're all learning. I think we all have different perspectives, so we will all read and intake the word differently. And it's great to talk about it. That's really how we learn from one another. And I'll see you guys on Monday for Mark chapter 2. Thanks for watching.